Class of 2025, congratulations. Today, we would be remiss not to take a look back at all the past few years, to reflect on the entire college experience that has brought us here to this gym. And no doubt, we're thinking a lot about what the next chapter of our lives will look like as we step foot off campus. For the first time, no longer as students. Whether we've already meticulously laid out the next few years, or whether we're riddled with uncertainty and anxiety about the immensity of the task ahead, we know that these are all important things to think about. But I would like to suggest that the present, something that in the busyness of this day we can hardly give much thought to, is perhaps the most underrated period to consider in these early years of our adult lives. Our time at Benedictine has been immensely fruitful in countless ways, but as any college is susceptible, it can condition us as students to focus entirely on the summit, on putting parts of our life on hold, on hunkering down and living a provisional life until graduation. But yet, many of the people here have hoped to condition us in another way. As we go on to begin new journeys, that we embrace our spot in the learning process and find joy in living and acting earnestly in our everyday. Some summits we may never reach, and so to give in to a kind of conditional happiness, we would be missing the happiness that we can find in today. Our graduation wasn't achieved by a single culminating moment. It was from the small moments in our everyday that we have arrived at this great occasion. May God grant you courage, discernment, and surrender to find happiness in His truth and in all that we do every day. Thank you. And I now have the honor of welcoming our next valedictorian, Avery Britten, to the podium.
I just want to begin by having all the graduates look around. Notice your family, the professors, your classmates who have become your friends. These are the people who have supported us these past 4 years and will continue to support us as we begin this next chapter of our lives. But what a gift from the Lord it is to be surrounded by them today. Last night, as I struggled to write this speech, I reflected on how the last 4 years have truly been a gift. The first time I visited Benedictine was when I was in the 8th grade for my cousin's graduation. The moment I walked on campus, I fell in love with the beauty. I got to see my cousin form these deep-rooted friendships that was like nothing I had ever experienced, and I watched as her faith grew and flourished. I got to come back the following year for another cousin's graduation, and I experienced the exact same thing. This was something that I truly deeply desired, so from this point forward, I decided I was going to be a Raven. However, little did 8th grade Avery know that she was going to experience so much more, and I'm sure everyone could agree with me. Upon arriving at Benedictine, I encountered professors who deeply desired to get to know their students and aid them in growing not only academically, but also spiritually. I encountered classmates who became lifelong friends and who have pushed me to grow in ways I didn't even think was possible, such as becoming more of an extrovert. But I think the greatest gift that the Lord has given me at Benedictine is encountering Him. I encountered Him through countless hours spent in adoration, multiple different theology classes, speaking with professors, and time with friends. So, thank you, fellow graduates, for truly showing me the love of the Lord. And as we go out into the world and leave the Benedictine bubble, may we take with us the faith, knowledge, and friendships that we have gained here and use them to share the love of Christ to all we encounter. Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Kourtney Koc.
I can confidently say that Benedictine College has prepared me for the real world. In the fall, I completed student teaching, graduated in December, and then went on to do something I had honestly been nervous to do my entire time as an education major: manage a classroom of 22 fourth graders all by myself. While it was definitely chaotic at times, I enjoyed every second of it, although I can't imagine the teacher I would be without the foundation I received from Benedictine. Our liberal arts education, rooted in the Catholic faith, has helped shape us all into well-rounded, adaptable, critical thinkers. However, none of that would have been possible without the people who guided us. Each time we stepped into a classroom, we were met by a dedicated professor with a thoughtfully crafted lesson or lecture, each one a small but meaningful step on our path towards success. For many of us, their influence likely changed the direction of our lives. We might have changed a major, found our vocation, or started viewing the world differently because of them. They've invested in us not just as students, but as people. So thank you to all of our professors for what the class of 2025 has and will accomplish. One thing I will deeply miss about Benedictine is that being a Catholic college is not just a label. It's something we actually live. It's integrated into everything from our classes, our community, spaces around campus, and the values we are taught to embody. Every day, we're encouraged to live and grow in our faith in a world where that can be difficult. I hope we can all carry that with us as we step outside of our Benedictine bubble. Now, rather than trying to come up with advice you've already heard, I thought who better to inspire us than a classroom full of sweet, thoughtful, and honest 10-year-olds. So I will leave you with some words of wisdom from the 4th grade class I student taught at St. Benedict's as you prepare to step out into the real world too. Thrive in your job. Stay virtuous and patient. Eat chicken nuggets. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Pick up your cross and follow the Lord. Be forgiveful. Eat even more chicken nuggets. Never take shortcuts, even if it's the fast way to do something. Remember, obstacles do not block the path, they are the path. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And lastly, always chase your dreams because they won't chase you back. Thank you all, and congratulations to my fellow graduates. I would like to pass the podium over to our next valedictorian, Jeff Schremmer.
Thank you, Kourtney. I'd like to begin by expressing my deep gratitude to all the parents here, family, professors, staff, administrators, priests and religious, all those who have lovingly served and supported this class of 2025 over the past 4 years. In particular, I'd also like to thank my parents who are sitting back there, without whose guidance I wouldn't be here today. We're in the midst of a period of great joy in the church at the election of Pope Leo XIV, who of course took his papal name in honor of Leo XIII, a great figure in modern church history who, among other things, was passionate about Catholic education. And Leo XIII's encyclical on Catholic education, Spectata Fides, gives us two powerful insights, I think, about what the past 4 years have meant, first for us as Catholics, and second for us as Americans. And in this encyclical, Leo notes how there is nothing more fitting than for academic formation and moral formation to be integrated, because these two components of education are essential to the propagation of the Catholic faith. We need men and women who can both defend and spread the faith while also living the faith. And it is a religious education that provides the prerequisite formation for young Catholic men and women to accomplish this. And Leo goes on to describe how these Catholic men and women, the ones who are formed both morally and intellectually through a religious liberal arts education, actually make the best citizens. Because it's these citizens, the ones who can pursue the truth, who are habituated in the good, who can recognize and appreciate beauty, these citizens are the ones that can ultimately transform and reorient the culture towards He who is truth, and who is goodness, and who is beauty. And I think that capacity to transform and reorient the culture towards Christ is alive and present in the class of 2025, and it's the reason why I'm so thankful for all of you, my classmates. Because far beyond our coursework and our classes, it's we who have formed each other in this way, in a community of faith and scholarship. So I'd just like to close by thanking all of you for building that community and for allowing me to be a part of it over the past 4 years. So thank you all so much. And it's now my great honor to introduce the final valedictorian of the class of 2025, Miss Abigayle Tucker.
Thank you, Jeff. My high school graduation quote came from St. Patrick's breastplate and read, "Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left," and so on. St. Patrick's words on the all-encompassing presence of Christ ring true throughout all of Benedictine College. Christ is in the heart of every professor who speaks to me, in the yells of students at intramural soccer games, to my left and right when I wait in line for an AFE, above me in the flyer on the top of my stunt and cheer, in the smiles flashed across the quad walking to class, and beneath me when I walk over the miraculous medals along the sidewalk. Being a student at Benedictine College has made me more aware of his presence in me. Class of 2025, Christ is in you. I've seen him in you, and others who have never attended a beanie banquet will too. With such a gift, we should never forget that we carry Christ to everyone we encounter. At the same time, never fail to gaze on the face of Christ before encountering another. As we leave the Raven Walk and the strolls up the hill to the Abbey behind, remember the Marian symbols of the Benedictine sidewalks and how that he is there. Impress such a mark on your soul. So, go forth and glorify him in your job, grad school, and even in the grocery store. Trust the next step. Listen to the words of St. Patrick. You know who's there. Thank you.